What's up, boys? Today is Monday, October 6th. Today I took an absolute zero drawdown banger that I just want to run through, show you guys why I took the trade, why I loved it so much, and why I thought it was such high confluence. So without further ado, just hop straight in. All right, so hopping on the market, clearing up the charts a little bit. I just want to quickly check out the price action from today, right? I want to look at what we saw going into open. So that's the biggest thing for me, right? On the bigger time frame, let's do ES first, right? We're at all-time highs, by the way, right? We swept this big sell side level around last week. Then we started kind of playing around in this range. We've been absorbing, and what I mean by that is like, look at how liquidity is being absorbed here, right? So the high gets taken, it's immediate push lower. High gets taken, then we take the high over here, even though we did on ES. But that's kind of our game, right? We take the high, we move a little bit lower, we pull back higher. So I'm recognizing those market conditions, looking to kind of fit something within that pattern, right? So going over and checking out NQ, it's the same exact thing, right? We just took this high right here, and we're starting to absorb, like I said. So high gets taken, push lower, pull back, high gets taken, all that stuff, right? So opening the market today, what do we see? So right now, NQ, if we look versus ES, the difference is that we haven't taken this high on ES. So what does that do? It puts in a big bearish SMT. So checking out the market at the time of open, most likely around 9 a.m. So right about here. So opening the market, we do look pretty bearish, right? 9 a.m. puts us right about here. We're looking pretty bearish because we just put in this bigger time frame bull or bearish SMT, right? Moving on to the 15-minute. What can we start to expect price doing, right? Understand, where is the session liquidity been, right? We've been generating lows right here. Even though we did take that on London, we have generated lows right here. We could potentially expect to see, looking at this is much clearer, a seek and destroy day play out where we generate liquidity, take, and now we have more generated liquidity. So we'll go ahead and take the high and then move lower, right? So understand, I'm expecting overall macro, bigger time frame, bullish bias, right? We also have Monday, we have this new week opening gap. I'll draw that in right here. So from the close of this one to the open of this one puts us right about here. I'm expecting this maybe to get filled, right? I'm also looking at price with that seek and destroy model right here. So I'm going to sweep this low and then move higher, or take the high and move lower. So either way, if we manipulate highs today, we can expect to move lower. If we manipulate lows, we can maybe look to move higher, right? So what do I need to trade? I want to see SMTs, all that good stuff, right? So opening the market, I was looking to see that high get taken, right? I was looking to see pump to the high, and then we can trade a nice clean short all the way down to there. That would have been super high probability in my opinion. But what do we end up getting instead? We end up getting a dump, right? So we end up dumping. Where do we dump to? ES ends up dumping all the way to take this London low right here and tap right back into the weekly gap. So now I'm saying to myself, if we want to move higher, we should be moving no lower because price has now done everything it needs to do, right? Swept the low. It's now pulled back into this weekly imbalance. We look super good to start rocketing off. Why is another reason I think we will? Because if we go back to NQ, where is NQ sitting at this time? We're sitting at equilibrium with this London range, bro. We haven't even tapped anything, right? We're back in equilibrium, OTE, whatever you want to call it, right? We haven't tapped anything. And in fact, zooming even out to the hourly, we can refine this because we're right within an hourly imbalance right here. So looking right about here, right within this hourly imbalance. So we now do what? On the 1 minute time frame, zooming in, we put in a bullish SMT, big one right here, big one, right? Now, this is a potential, a little bit of confluence trade, right? From this point, it's 950. If price wants to move higher, what will it do, right? It'll make inverse here, new fair value gap here, and then we'll run this for a change in the state. What did we not do? We did everything but give me the actual confirmation, which is that change in the state. So I don't touch the market, bro. All I'm watching here is chop generation, potentially for the next macro. What is the next macro? It's going to be 1050 macro, right? So we're expecting now to see a little bit of chop until maybe the next macro when we usually get the most of our trades, right? Now, what does the market end up doing right here? The ES has already gone as low as it needs to do, right? It's already pulled lower and made it imbalance higher and started rocketing off, right? If you took a trade right here, that would have been super high probability, probably the setup of the day, low key. I'm just not sure where you would have got tapped, maybe here. But this would have most likely been a very high probability setup to this high. Looking really good, much more efficient than my trade. At this point, we end up putting in this bullish SMT right about here, right at 1042. So then pulling back over to NQ, we put that bullish SMT, and like I just said, and boom, right? Now we have an SMT externally, an SMT internally, and the SMT is within an area in which I already expect price to reject and move higher. What's another reason why I'm looking for price to move higher? On the bigger time frame, we have that seek and destroy model, yeah, but we still have London high sitting here untapped. It wasn't taken pre-market or on New York open. It wasn't taken at all. It's still sitting there untapped. That's a big area I want to see price retrace to. Even though the bigger time frame has an SMT, I'm more so looking to trade that daily range here because everything tells me bullish market. but that one thing on the bigger time frame, that one little SMT in a period of consolidation too. It's not even like we're in a big trending day and have a consolidation. No, we have a period of consolidate, or sorry, it's not even like we're in a big trending day and then I have an SMT. No, we're in consolidation where price is moving kind of randomly, and then you get an SMT. If it's not aligned with everything, I'm going to hold it in lower regard, right? So, like I said, SMT within this low. What am I now waiting for? I'm waiting for inverse fair value gap. I'm waiting for a new fair value gap. I'm waiting for a change in the state. So right here, I get my change in the state. Big displacement. I get my inverse right here. And then I see new fair value gap opened up right here. Now at this point, I'm watching to see this price start to move lower slowly and tap me in, because I would have liked to take my trade most likely long right about here, and then taking the trade probably to this low, and then looking to see first TP, second TP, and then finally fourth TP, which this is exactly what I ended up doing, right? However, what I ended up actually taking was a little bit different, right? I wait for price to actually show me a continuation higher before looking to catch a more of a continuation style entry, instead of, you know, trading in looking to get that first entry, because I want to see a price further affirm it to me. If we push back and we're still kind of consolidating here, right? Once I get this fair value gap higher, it gives me further confidence to want to trade longs, right? So I ended up placing the trade something like this, and I'm pretty sure this is exactly how I ended up taking the setup. I left final runner all the way to this high, but definitely looking to take everything off much earlier. I think the stop is actually right about down here. Yeah, so this is the setup. First high, taking it off here. I took 50% of my position off. I took a remaining about 40%, and then 10% ran to that high. So just really squeezing the market today. I thought this was super high probability. Everything on every single time frame tells us let's go higher, right? So there's no reason the market should move lower. The only issue with this trade, I mean, it's beautiful at zero down, drawdown, everything's awesome. The only issue is just the inefficiency, right? Usually I'm wanting to see price pump within, you know, a couple minutes of that first draw, right? Maybe like, you know, 10 minutes, whatever, it's that first draw. Then I want to see second within maybe 20, 30, final a little later. But this was just literally super inefficient. It took me from 11 to about 14:30. So, bro, pretty much a huge chunk of the day. But I mean, I don't mind waiting the trade if I'm making bread. So, I mean, overall, interesting day to look at the markets. This is the trade a little bit zoomed out here. Seek and destroy profile, playing SMTs, back into this for value gap down here. I mean, this setup was pretty high confidence in my opinion. Trading NQ or trading ES for this would have actually been a little higher RR. But I mean, at the end of the day, a trade's a trade, and we hit TP. So overall, I mean, I think it's an awesome setup to, you know, kind of analyze, look at price action, look at how we played this internal session liquidity, I guess you'd call it, with London session, the seek and destroy macro, the SMT, the London session high being left, right? Once we move down and we manipulate away from that high that's still left, and we take a side of session liquidity, I'm asking myself, is there any more session liquidity for me to take? If not, most likely trading a reversal is going to be much lower probability. However, when they still have that London high there to go ahead and take, it's pretty high probability to go ahead and look for some kind of reversal. So overall, W trade, W day. Excited to be on here. Hope you guys learned something from the day. I hope I can teach you guys the way to analyze the market, make you kind of see some setups, more high probability, make you look at trading more mechanical and easier. Without further ado, I'm gonna let you boys go, and peace out.